My dear friends, welcome again for this week's video. I'm back from just a few days spent in the southern part of Italy, and today I would like to chat with you about one of the most famous delays used by The Edge, by David Gilmour, and so on. That is the 8 dot or 8D, that is as it is normally known. In this video, I'm gonna go with you in the definition, how it is calculated, and how to replicate this effect that is very welcome and very effective, very three-dimensional, using our favorite NUX MG30. So follow me after the intro. Here we go again. As I said, this week's topic will be the reproduction of the famous 8D delay uh, using our NUX MG30. Of course, you can use whatever pedal board or system you want. It's important that you follow me about the theory. What is 8D delay? What is the meaning? And how you can set it on your machines or your favorite modeler. It requires, technically speaking, two different delays, so it is important to have both of them, but just have a look at the table of contents. For obtaining the real effect of our NUX MG30, I'm giving for granted that you already updated to firmware version 5. Please, if you want to have a step-by-step guide on how to make this upgrade, just watch some previous videos in these same channels. In the last couple of videos, I explained how to make the upgrade and how to avoid the most common situation. I will be using the new version 5.0.2, but if you have the 5.0.1, that is the previous one, it's exactly the same, so don't worry, you're not forced to do the last update for that. We will be using two delays in sequence. We will see how to. In one of my videos, I showed you that it is possible now with this upgrade in the firmware. That is something that was not so explained, so advertised about this possibility. And how to obtain the 8D delay in two different ways: through QuickTone in a more, I would say, mathematical way, or directly from the screen of our machine. That is probably more easy to obtain. So let's go on with some definitions. What is 8D or 8 dot delay? Normally it is written in your pentagram, in your notation, with with the symbol of the semi-minima, the crotchet note, so the eighth, I would say, with included with the chroma, sorry, for that is the 8 with the dot beside it. That's why 8.8D as it is called normally. How is it calculated? It is a strange form because it's simple. The dots adds a half percent, 50% in the duration. So it means that if you have for example, like in this screen, I hope you can read it. So if I have, for example, a 1/4 that is defined, let me increase the size so you can read better. If we have a quarter note, that is the usual. When we have 4/4 in a period, so that is what you normally push on the top tempo to obtain that frequency. So it is the quarter note. Let's define that as the 100%, that is 1/4, because it's normally our rhythm, our beat per minute that we calculate. The 8 is half of that. It's a fraction, 1/4, 1/8. So if it is, for example, like in this, let's put, for example, in this one, give me a second, 120 bit per minute, that means that 1/4 lasts 500 milliseconds, half a second. In fact, the beats per minute are 120, so 2 beats per second. The minute is 60 seconds, we have 120, that is 2 times per second. So it's normal that every beat lasts half a second, like in this case. The 8, of course, lasts half that amount, so 250 milliseconds, so a quarter of seconds in simple words. What is 1/8D? Is 1/8 plus half of them, so 1/8 plus 1/16. That makes it 75% if the one quarter is 100% and one eighth octave is 50%, one eighth is 50%, the 1/8 D is 75%. That is can sound strange, but it is the reason why it creates that returning beat per minute beats every now and then. You can have a look here. I made a sort of visual mapping of that. If we focus on these two lines, that is the combination that we normally use. Okay, one important explanation. Normally, when you get 8D delay, it means that the delay is repeating the sound every 1/8 and a half, every 75% of a quarter. So that is something that is just a bit every 1/8 and a half. So that is 1/8 and 1/16 if you want to be more precise. That is in this case, if we have a bit per minute of 120, is every 375 milliseconds. That is not the effect we are used to, because normally this is just a repetition that gives you a bit every now and then. So to let you to have an idea on how it would work, let me detach this delay. Okay, here we go. So for example, if I turn off this one, that is the second delay, and we keep only the first one, you should hear something like this. You hear that it is there is a repetition every precise section. It doesn't matter the timing. It matters that it is only one repetition every now and then. What we are looking for when we want to use the 8D delay, that this single one, is combine that with the 1/4 delay. That is what normally it is done by the famous guitarist I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like David Gilmour for Run Like Hell, for The Wall, and so on, or the Age for Pride, for Where the Streets Have No Name, and many other songs like that. They became famous for that. For that, especially for the Edge, that is probably more studied from this point of view, he uses two delays. One set it onto 1/4 and one set it onto 8D. So the real effect we associate to 8D is a combination of two delays, not a single one, not only the 8D, but it is 8D plus the 1/4 one. And that is what you can obtain turning both on and obtain something like this. I believe that you can recognize it very easily, so let me. So you see here that there are some delays coming and somehow following one each other. That's what I tried to explain here visually in this. The combination of these two delays. You see that if you do it, you will have one repetition, then another one after a shorter time, then a longer time, another repetition after a long. So the intervals seems like irregular sometimes, and that is what you hear, like that bumping in the sound that we are all fond of, that we really like. It's probably more easy to visualize it if I reduce the size. You see that, for example, if we combine other frequencies, the delays will overlap one onto each other. Instead, you see that here you have two reflections, then another one single, then two on a short distance, another one, and so on. So it gives you that sort of bumping with different timings that we like, and that produce that incredible effect that we always like in those songs. To obtain that, as I said, as you can see from the explanation, we need two delays that normally are in sequence, one after the other. The Edge generally used also a parallel sequence with a stereo combination. He he was famous because he used to have two delays and two amplifiers to have stereo effects and so on. So it is something that that we can obtain as well. Of course, what we are going to do with MG30 uh, gives different possibilities to obtain this result because it can be done in many different ways. It was already possible also within the version 4 of the firmware. So if you have not upgraded, you still have the possibility to do that. But you need a stereo configuration because the two delays will rebound on the two sides, left and right. They will not be combined. What I'm going to show you today is a combination that can work even if you have a mono system, like myself. For example, I have a mono amplifier. I'm putting the MG30 into that, and I want to hear that effect. If I have a mono amplifier and I use the MG30, I can use the left version. It's not combined into a mono channel. It keeps it separated, and I cannot hear the the full effect. I can only hear one of the two delays. So it's not what we are interested in. So that's why I'm going to show you two different possibilities to do that. So how can we obtain it? First of all, let me show you the easiest one that you can obtain also onto the version 4 of the firmware. So if we go like this, you see that, for example, let's remove this one and make it a reverb. You can select the delay, and for delay you can select the duo time. Remember that, duo time delay. Duo time delay, as the name says, simulates the homonymous pedal provided, manufactured by NUX with FX. The pedal has a lot of possibilities. In fact, you see that there are some knobs that you cannot turn on the simulation included in MG30, but of course it's a pedal that is very expensive, so its cost alone, like the MG30, is the same price, so there must be something more in that. In any case, it is possible for that to select two different times and two different repetitions, so how much the repetition is done. So it is possible to have a repeat not so high, let's put it around 30 to give you an idea, on both sides. And here we can simulate the two delays we wanted. The first one at one quarter, that is the maximum here, so 100% in simple words. And the second one to .8, that is the second tip on the section. That is this one here. Okay. This one is the .8. It is written. There is a symbol of a chroma with a dot beside it. I'm not sure if you are looking from a small screen. I don't know if you can read it, but I personally have some troubles with because my Mac is increasing the size. I can zoom in, but it is not possible to show you in OBS Studio that I'm using for recording. But in any case, is the second tip. If you do like that, you can obtain a stereo effect that somehow simulates this possibility. Of course, it must be on. You need to save it, like we did here. Okay. And you can obtain something like that. Of course, it's important that you set the level at 100 or so, because in the songs we mentioned before, you may remember that normally the delay, the repetitions, sounds very similar to the initial picking of the guitar, or even identical, especially for the U2 songs, because the repetition is set at least at the starting, because then it fades away. It's set at the same level as the picking, so the repetition has the same volume as the initial picking, like this. You hear that? Okay, of course, here we have one thing that it is important to get the best result, and that is something that I would like to give you as a note. I noticed you can obtain a better result if you keep the first delay at 50%. I don't know exactly why. There is a same strange combination with the tap tempo with the BPMs of the song that you can set here. By the way, one important thing to keep in mind that is valid also in the other combination. When you put this, when you set the beats per minute in the preset, it is reflected in the system. So if you put it as 50%, it is 50% of this frequency of this of these timings, that is 500 milliseconds, as we said. It will become 250. So it is very similar to what you can obtain through the important thing is that if you save this and you want to change the speed you play, maybe you want to slow down to practice, or you want to increase the speed step by step, you don't need to move the knobs on the delay. You just need to change the BPM in the system. With one important warnings, it happened to me many times, especially when using two delays, as we are seeing in a moment, that if you change the BPM, the frequency of the delays, or one of the two delays, it's quite irregular, this behavior, is not set again with the BPM unless you move slightly the knobs. So you need to set a new level, move somehow the knobs, and then try again. At that point, it is set correctly, because it's probably it calculates again what you should obtain. And you can hear that there are this kind of repetition going on. Maybe we can increase also the repeats and get you. But you hear that they are going in the two sides, because it is a stereo effect, it's not a mono effect. If you want to do it with a mono combination, as I'm used to do, then you need for sure to have attend the version 5 of the firmware, because in version 5 of the firmware it was made possible to convert the reverb into another delay. You see that when I go in when I just select it, go with my mouse on top of it, it says if you hold it, you can switch between reverb and delay. In fact, if I keep it pressed, it turns into a delay block, and I can select whatever delay I want, like the tape echo that's what I'm being using for this demo. I did it in the scene 3 that I saved here. You see that I have two delay blocks. The first one is this one, is set at 100%, as I told you before. The repetition is not so high. It's important not to keep it very high, because otherwise the tail will be too long, so it's not very pleasant. And the level at 100%. And the second block, sorry, the first block is at 50%. The repetition is higher. And here we can have the same thing with this one set at 100% and 50% was this one. Sorry, there is, okay, this one. Repetition can be increased, not so much. Let's keep it around 30. The same here. The level always at 30%. I know that it is difficult to see which one I'm using because I'm moving back and forth. And you can hear that there is this kind of repetition. That is what we want, we would like to obtain. Okay, for this is 50%. This one should be at 75 to obtain the best result. Too fast, okay, 100%, and then okay, and this one, okay, sorry. Okay, and we have this one at 75%, as we said. It's the order is not so important, so you can keep before the first one, after the second one. It's up to you. But one at 100%, as we said before, that is 1/4, and one at 75%, that is the 8D delay. repetition around 30 or less. For the edge, normally it's better use a lower value like 15 or 20. For if you want running for if you play something different from Pink Floyd, maybe you need something more. And this time can be set like that. Another possibility you have at your disposal is to use the setting directly from the screen of our NUX MG30. That somehow can be more practical. Of course, you need to remember if you are using this configuration, this one, so two delays one after the other, consider that the second delay was the reverb. So you can select it from here, from the buttons, if you press reverb. You keep it pressed and you see that I have this one. In this configuration, the partialization like 8D or full are not visible, so you need to set it knowing exactly the time. But for the second one, you see that I set the time at 100%, so this is the quarter one. If we go in the other one, in delay, you see that I can select the subdivision. And the subdivision, as you can see, is at 8D. I can do it from this knob, and I can select 8D directly. This way, it is even easier to select 8D sequence, and that is what we did on this second delay. Okay, so this way it is possible to have it selected. You may notice that these two knobs, time and subdivision, are somehow conflicting. In fact, they are not also following one each other. That can look strange, but they do exactly the same thing. Time allows you to select the percentage of a semi-minima of a quarter note that you can use for the delay, 100%, 75, or so on. But this one gives you directly the fraction. That's you see that 100% is one quarter, exactly like there. So they are getting you more or less in the same at the same result. That is the important thing to keep in mind. If you need to do it on the flight, of course, this is more practical. But you need to remember that for the second delay, that is on the reverb block, this possibility is not showing up. It's more simple. I don't know if in a future upgrade that will be possible, but honestly speaking, I'm already very happy that it is possible to have two different delays altogether in this combination. So I hope that I was able to make myself clear. This video is becoming more longer than I was expecting, but in any case, it was important to give you this possibility to understand exactly step by step what is happening. I didn't want you to have difficulties in selecting that. I will provide also the Excel file you have seen in the download section, so just check the links in the description. I'm going to explain you later. Now I believe it's time to show you some examples of the results that is possible to obtain. I will use scene 3, as you can see here. That is the combination using two delays one after the other. You may have noticed that I changed a little the settings between the two combinations. So for Run Like Hell, I used a repeat of about 30. And for Where the Streets Have No Name, I used about 15 because otherwise it makes too confusing. In Run Like Hell, you need more tail because you need to have the beats repeating until you start again with the chords. So you need to cover that moment where the period where you're not picking the string. Instead with Where the Streets Have No Name, you are always picking. So it is important not to create too many overlappings because they can become annoying. annoying. In any case, I hope it was fun. Forgive me for my playing. You know that I'm not really a great guitarist. I'm mainly a technician, so I'm giving you this kind of um, information about some technical parts. But in any case, what I would really like to focus on is if you were able to follow me in the definition of the 8D delay, how to obtain it, how to replicate it on your NUX MG30 or any other pedal board if you have the possibility to obtain a similar result. It's important to understand what are the timings that we are looking for and how they can be obtained. You can even calculate them by hand. As I said before, I'm gonna give you a link in the description below where you can download the Excel file I showed you that can allow you to calculate immediately the time in milliseconds when you set the bits per minute on top of it. So I'm referring to this one. If I look here, if you put inside here a timing, for example, like 90 bits per minute, you see that all the durations are recalculated in milliseconds. So if you have some very old pedals or a pedal board that only shows you the timing in milliseconds or something like that, you can do like this. If you have the possibility to have percentages, or even better, to have the subdivisions of the notes inside in one of your knobs in your settings, that's easy because maybe you have already 8D available or 8.8 already available in your selection, like we have on the screen of our NUX MG30. The important thing is that you have fun with this. I will also provide this preset if you want to have it ready for use in both situations, for dual time and both delays, in the Facebook official channel by NUX MG30, because for the moment I have no other places to put it on. So if you want to ask, feel free to write me directly if you want to receive it. It's not a big deal for me. In any case, I hope you found it funny and you will have a lot of fun trying to replicate this one. Consider that with this preset you can start for replicating some other tones, like for example Pride. For you too, you just need to reduce a little the level because the repetition must come a little slower, but it is still an 8D delay, so in many YouTube songs you will find this used sooner or later. For the Pink Floyd, the same, both David Gilmour and The Edge made this one famous, but they are not the only ones using this kind of delay. It's very atmospheric. I don't know how to define it, so I really like it, and it is something that you always remember because it provides that effect that no other delay, in my opinion, can provide. That's you can make variations because we tried with 100% and plus 75% combination, but if you try different settings in between just to make sure that the two delays are not overlapping exactly, the effect you obtain is always funny. So have fun with that. That's why instead of conclusion I said have fun. In any case, feel free to give me feedback, tell me what you're looking for. By the way, one thing that you may have noticed is that in the new version of the firmware, the management of the trail in the effects is better than it was in the previous firmware, especially if you're switching synths. And this way you can also try to create some combination in a single song when you have the delay for some effects, and then you can stop it, but the trail is heard. Nevertheless, this way you can you can use it, and it is more natural for in the final effect. So experiment. That is my best suggestion. I've been playing for this, and I'm gonna play with this for another week or so because I want to find out my own tone. But this is a starting point I wanted to share with you. So I hope you had fun. You found it clear. If you have some explanation you need, something was not clear enough, just feel free to comment and write me below because I'm always replying even to any critics because anything can help me improve is good. Of course, please be patient. This is done in my very limited spare time. I'm not paid for this. It's just an hobby, so it is something I would like to share. If you find it useful, just let me know. It's something that pushes me on. And the best way you can support the channel is, of course, share it with your friends if if you like it, and ask them to subscribe. This way, I have I can see a feedback that tells me that I'm doing something that you find useful and you're happy to watch, and I'm going on with that. So thank you again for watching. See you in next video, hopefully next week. But my spare time is very small, so be patient if I'm skipping some weeks. If you are subscribed, you will be notified whenever there is something new to be watched on this channel. Thank you again. Bye bye, my friends.